25 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. I'm Candace Breyer, Chairperson of the Zoning Board of Appeals. The Zoning Board of Appeals is a 9-person volunteer board nominated by the mayor and approved by City Council. First, we will hear from Planning Services, represented tonight by John Barrett. Then the applicant or their representative will make their presentation. Applicants will have 5 minutes in which to make their presentation. Staff will keep time and will announce when 30 seconds are remaining. Public comment is available in person or remotely. We will first call on individuals present to address the board, then remote participants. To speak during a public hearing or during public comment remotely, press star 9 if listening by phone, or use the raise hand feature if viewing through the web link. For phone access, call 877-853-5247 and enter meeting ID 938-1648-1007. City staff will select callers that have raised their hand using the last 3 digits of your phone number or by name if available for those accessing through the web link. You will hear an automated announcement that the host is allowing you to speak. When speaking, please move to a quiet area and mute any television or background sounds. We may ask questions of either the city or the applicant. We will acknowledge any written comments received by the board. We will allow an appearing party to express their support or objections. The board will then discuss the appeal and formulate a motion to approve that appeal. 5 affirmative votes of the board will be required for an appeal to be granted. Finally, any qualified party who is aggrieved by a decision of the board can appeal that decision to the Washington County Circuit Court on a timely basis. Roll call. Candace Breyer, I am here. Dave DeVarty.
DeVarty here.
Patty Leskowski.
Here.
Julie Weatherby.
Here.
Drew Denson. Mike Daniel. Dharma Ackman.
Here.
Christina Glusak.
Here.
We have a quorum. Moving on to approval of the agenda, I will note quickly if there's anyone here or accessing online that's here to speak on the petition on East Huron that's been pulled from the agenda. That'll be back next month, so we won't be discussing that at all this evening.
315 West Huron.
Oh, yes, sorry, John.
No problem.
Moving on to approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Thank you, Patty. Support? Thank you, Julie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to minutes. We have minutes from the August 27th, 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Are there any questions, comments, corrections on those minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Thank you, Julie. Support? Thank you, Dharma. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving on to public hearings. We have petition ZBA 25-0021, 341 North Maple Road. John?
Good evening. My name is John Barrett. I'm the zoning coordinator for the city of Ann Arbor. The first case this evening, like Candace said, is 341 North Maple Road, further identified as ZBA 25-0021. Paul Dieters, representing the property owner and business owner, is requesting a 4.75 square foot variance from table 5.24-3, other mixed use and non-residential and special purpose district permanent signs. The maximum height of a wall sign is 20 feet, and the applicant is proposing a wall sign to be installed at 24.75 feet above grade. The property is zoned TC1 Transit Corridor District. The subject property is located on the west side of North Maple Road in the Maple Village Shopping Center. The proposed sign is 102 square feet for a new Rally House retail store that replaces the previous Kirkland's retailer. Table 5.24.3 requires the wall signs to be in the lowest 20 feet of a building when installed on a building that is less than 45 feet in total height. The subject building is approximately 30 feet in overall height. The applicant requests this variance to install this wall sign at the 24.75 foot mark. If you'll turn your attention to the monitors, you'll see the first slide is the zoning map. The subject building is highlighted in the blue. The next slide shows the aerial map and shows surrounding properties and existing conditions. And the next slide is the zoomed in aerial photo of the subject property. The Maple Village Shopping Center. This is the inspection. The photos that I took in my inspection, you see the sign is currently already installed. It was installed under sign permit 25-0056. It was approved by zoning and the building department. Just a different perspective of the sign and existing conditions, and the two retail tenants directly to the left of the subject sign and subject business, and two tenants to the right of the subject business. That is pretty much all I have for my staff presentation, and I can take any questions that you have at this time.
Thank you, John. Any questions? Dave?
Just an odd question. On our map and on the screen, you had the green outline of the structure that this is part of, and then there's also a green border around one of the outlying buildings.
Yeah, that's
Why is
just,
that?
I think that's just because that smaller one is addressed as 341, but it highlighted both of them. So it's the whole.
But there's no signage there that we're.
No, that's correct. It's just for this,
So there's not some
no.
podium sign or whatever?
No, sir. No.
And then the other question, there was a picture of a sign that looked like it was higher than this. Is that the case? That was to the right?
Yeah, that's five
Five
below.
below.
That's because it was existing prior to the sign ordinance changing in 2019. So if that was to, say, another retailer was going there and take that existing sign down, the new tenant would have to come in and comply with this requirement.
Thank you.
Any other questions for John? All right, if the petitioner is here, please come forward, sign in, state your name. You'll have 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I've signed in already. Good evening. My name is Paul Dieters. I am with Metro Signs and Lighting, 11444 Colts Avenue in Warren. And with me this evening are Josh from the construction team and Monica, who's a senior district manager with Rally House. They'll be speaking as well. John, thank you for your summary. Really, the difficulty that we're having here is Rally House had been in the center, relocated, had a larger sign in a different location in the center, expanded their space significantly to come to this location. They love being in Ann Arbor. The challenge is here, they're getting an awful lot of comments. There are 4 other existing signs that are on these architectural features like this. All of them are centered in that architectural feature. People can't help but come there and saying, your sign is out of place. And it's the first thing that everybody notices there because it's off-center, just like the gentleman made the comment. The other one's next door to that. And it's significantly impacting their business, and I'd like for Monica to come up and she can share some more about that.
Hi, I'm Monica Ross. I'm the Senior District Manager for Rally House. I am the leader of all of our Ann Arbor locations. We have 5 locations as well as a tent that we operate here in Ann Arbor. We did move this location from the shopping center. I think in the photo that he showed earlier, it was the building highlighted in red or had a red outline. We nearly doubled in size. We expanded our selection, and we also expanded our team selection as well. So initially, we only had Michigan with a very, very reduced selection of other pro teams, which we've expanded in the new space. Not counting the first couple of weeks, because it did take us a little time to fill in. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been down anywhere from 20 to 60% off of our projections for this new space. We do get a lot of comments, as he mentioned, with customers who either think that we did it incorrectly by putting it in that space, or that just missed the building altogether. They drive to the old location, which is facing a different direction. And when they glance over, some of the trees block the sign that exists currently. You can see it there to the left. If you're on the other side of the parking lot where the current or the old store was, it's difficult to see the existing sign over the trees. obviously, as he mentioned as well, all of the other locations that have that feature have their sign higher up. So I think that that's part of the confusion, is they still think that the space is vacant. But they unfortunately think that we've closed our doors altogether, and that's certainly not our intent. We would like to continue to grow with Ann Arbor as we have been, with the MDN stores acquisition, and this one is meant to be more of a neighborhood store. We have our Arborland location that does really well on the east side of town, and we're looking forward to our Maple Village one doing really well on the west side of town. So we appreciate you guys considering.
Thank you.
you.
Any questions for the petitioners? Dave?
While we're looking at this particular slide, your variance, you see these lines cutting across. I don't know what the distance is between them. They're not, they're just, looks like little creases in the big platform there. How high up are you talking about moving that rally house sign? The slide that's on the screen right now.
So the existing sign, as you see on the slide right there, sits at 20 feet.
The top of it.
The top of it is at 20 feet because that's what we had to do to be able to get it so that we could open
Right.
and have a conforming sign.
But this
we're
variance that
asking to
you're
go up
requesting is asking to move it how much higher?
4 feet, 9 inches higher.
But
And how many lines that would be? So that's the third line, so it would be to 1, 2, 3. It would be to move it 2 1/8 lines up.
So basically to center it in
And
that,
that's what it is.
in that area is
Because all
what
of
you're
the
looking
other
at.
signs with that type of architectural feature in the whole center
Right,
have the
I've-
sign centered in
Yeah,
that
I've seen that.
feature.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the petitioner? Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
That from a distance, there's some landscape that blocks the sign. Do you have a photo of that, or?
It's the tree there.
I was going to say, you
It's
can
just
see a
that-
tree on this side, and then there's a tree just to the right of this vehicle that's there. There's actually a line of trees, but they're not.
Is that in an island in front?
Yeah, there's kind of like a
It's hard to
small
tell from
median.
that.
If you're looking directly at it, you will find it. That's not the issue. It's really from an angle, which most customers, if they go to our old space, are going to be naturally at an angle to the store. And unless they're specifically looking at that direction, it can be a visible barrier.
I do it. It's okay.
Okay, sure.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. I see. I see. Okay. Yeah, oh, yeah, just go down. Thanks.
Thanks. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this point, we will open the public hearing, so if there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this petition, now is your chance. If you're here in person, please come forward. If you are accessing remotely, please press *9 or use the raise hand button.
So we have one guest named Barry. Barry, I'm allowing you to talk and asking you to unmute if you can hear me. Barry, can you hear me? All right. Not sure. Let's see.
John, I'm fairly certain his intent was just to listen in to the proceedings.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think he had an intention of speaking.
All right. So there are no other callers at this time.
All right, Excellent. The public hearing is closed, and we are in discussion. Julie?
So I'm looking at the Google map of this, and John, I don't know if, I'll just use that as and it looks like all of the signs for all of the businesses are centered, even on the ones that are a little bit lower, they're still centered in their facade. Like this one has the sort of sticky up facade. I'm sure there's a technical term for that.
Yeah, you're saying all the signs are centered on the brown paneling?
Yeah, like all of
And
the
then
signs are centered for how much
Yeah.
height they have, except for this one.
They were all installed prior
Because they were all
to
installed prior.
2019. Like I said, if one's removed and then the new one comes in for permitting, they're going to be under the same requirements as this tenant.
But currently, they're all centered except for this one.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
John, do you know, is the sign that's shown here the maximum size that they're allowed?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay.
It's 102 square feet. And
Okay.
so I think their tenant space was 51 linear feet, so they get double that. It's 102 square feet.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Dharma?
I can see why this is difficult, and I guess I appreciate that they tried. I can see why it looks silly with the framing, and I think these, whatever you call these things, these sign frames that sit on the facades of building, I think make it challenging. If it was just the brown part all the way across, I don't think this would be an issue. But that's what we're dealing with, so I'll be supporting this.
I will say I'm struggling with this a little bit. I recognize that it looks kind of silly, and we've seen quite a few of these where the facade was built for another business, another sign, and is clearly intended to have the sign in a certain spot, and our current ordinance doesn't allow the sign to be in that spot. So architecturally, it gets a little bit weird. But when looking at the conditions that we have that an application has to meet in order to receive a variance, I mean, there's not a practical difficulty. There's clearly a sign there on the business currently, and while it may not be ideal, it exists. So I'm torn a little bit between strict interpretation of the standards and, I mean, at the end of the day, does it really make a huge difference if this sign is a couple feet taller? Probably not, but does it meet the rules, the standards? I don't know. Dave?
I'm going to vote in favor of this. If this location was moved over to where the end of the complex, where it would be readily visible to traffic driving by, I would have more problem, because I think the original intent of the sign ordinance was to minimize, reduce competing things going on to distract drivers. Of course, the University of Michigan doesn't listen to us, and they've got a big billboard right outside the stadium, which is very distracting because it changes all the time. But this is not that. And this is a very simple thing. It's a modest change. It's consistent with everything else in the center, and it's away from the road. I don't see any possible driver distraction that's going to result from raising this up 4 feet. I'm going to vote for it.
Patty?
Yeah, so I was actually at Maple Village like this last week, and I saw the sign, and I'm like, oh, they must be following the variance, and that's why it's so short. So I can understand from a perception, it did look like it was installed incorrectly, and so I could see where all those customer comments could be coming from, and it could give an air of like maybe that this isn't the real Rally House because they don't know how to install their signs correctly. So I'm going to be in favor for moving this up just the small amount that they asked for.
Dharma?
I think I'm also just moved by the fact that it's not very often that we have someone come in that has followed the letter of the zoning law and is telling us that it's not working and is then asking for a variance. So I find, they're telling us the sign isn't sort of functioning in the way that they need it to function. That, to me, is compelling.
Any other discussion? We ready for a motion?
I could make a motion.
Thank you, Dave.
ZBA 25-0021, 341 North Maple Road. The Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants a variance of 4.75 feet from Table 5.24-3, other mixed-use and non-residential and special purpose district permanent signs. The maximum height of a wall sign is 20 feet, and the applicant is proposing a wall sign 24.75 feet above grade. The sign will be installed per the submitted plans.
Thank you, Dave. We have a motion. Do we have support? Support. Thank you, Dharma. Dharma. Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Julie.
Yes.
Dave.
DeVarty, yes.
Christina.
Yes.
Patty.
Yes.
I vote no. But you have 5 yeses, so the request is granted.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Moving on to unfinished business, we have none. New business reports from council. Dharma?
I don't have anything to report.
All right, well. Communications. I did not see any communications in our packet, so moving on from that. Public comment. If there is anyone from the public who wishes to speak on any item, now is your chance. Please come forward. State your name. You'll have 3 minutes. If you're accessing remotely, please press *9 or use the raise hand button.
There are no callers at this time.
Thank you, John. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, Dharma. Support? Thank you, Julie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Short and sweet. Short and sweet.